Formula One is a sport that sees plenty of changes, but sometimes things just stay the same. Cars were back on track for the first time this season as pre-season testing got underway in Bahrain. And on the first day of the 3 days of testing, there was a usual name on top of the timing charts and an ugly old friend that has returned to the sport. One that many thought would be gone for good this year. I'm Ollie Wilson for GPFans, and this is pre-season testing day 1. Best dressed on the day, without a doubt, were the mechanics of Williams in their new Golf race suits. But there are no prizes for looking good in F1. If the timing charts at the end of the day are anything to go by, which of course they aren't, Max Verstappen will be looking at a number of prizes this season. The Dutchman was fastest on the opening day of on-track action, finishing above everyone in both the afternoon and evening running in Bahrain. More worrying was perhaps Christian Horner's reaction to Verstappen's early pace after a first session that saw the reigning world champion put in 71 laps. The Red Bull team principal looked very pleased indeed at the lack of issues his team and their RB19 had through the first 4 hours or so of testing, as he described the new car as an evolution of the dominant RB18 that took both drivers' and constructors' titles last season. When asked about Verstappen's thoughts on the initial running, Horner replied, "He got out the car and I had a brief chat with him at lunchtime. He is already into the detail, which is already a positive sign. There are no fundamental flaws with the car. We will only see next weekend how competitive we are." Verstappen did all of the running on day 1, 157 laps in total, with Sergio Perez the only driver not to hit the track across the grid. Positive signs aren't what other teams on track want to see from Red Bull Racing, as everybody looks to close the gap on them this season, with many teams, according to Horner, adopting some of Red Bull's ideology in their car design. A team not looking like a Red Bull in design or on the track is Ferrari, as the Scuderia's first running saw what looked like the return of porpoising to the sport. Formula One has changed its regulations this season when it comes to the rear ride height of cars to try and help eliminate the problem that caused so many issues for so many teams and drivers last season. But the new Ferrari could be seen bouncing along the long straights of Bahrain's international circuit, with Carlos Sainz at the helm, although Alpine too were also still plagued by the issue on day 1. Not concerned by the bouncing, however, was Toto Wolff and Mercedes, as the Silver Arrows team boss was quick to stress how balanced his team's car looked after the first session of testing that saw George Russell go 5th fastest. "There's no bouncing, which is good news, apart from that big bump at the end of the straight," said Wolff. "I think we have a solid base now to work from and try to optimise the car, which we haven't done yet. It's really just finding out if there are any areas that could be a real performance hindrance like last year with the bouncing. We've just got to work through the program." So there's a long way still to go this week, and of course for the run-in into the new season, but for the early championship contenders, at least 2 out of the 3 of them will be pleased with what they have seen, with the question marks of course around Ferrari's early bouncing problems. Fernando Alonso had a solid run for Aston Martin in his new green machine, finishing just behind Verstappen on the timesheets. For all the bouncing, Carlos Sainz was 3rd, with Lando Norris 4th and Lewis Hamilton 5th, although as I say earlier, timing really means nothing when it comes to pre-season testing, particularly on day 1. But it's a fun benchmarker, isn't it, to start getting our teeth into. What did you make of the first day of testing? Let us know in the comments section below. GPFans.com for all the news around the first few days of on-track action, and GPFans Global across social media.